The war was over. After years of blood, fire, and broken planets, silence finally fell across the stars. The Galactic Alliance, a group of powerful alien species and human colonies, stood together on a giant orbital station to celebrate victory. They had defeated the Krylok swarm, creatures without fear, without pity, and without reason. It was not an easy win. Many lives were lost. Many ships had fallen. And yet, in the middle of that great war, it was a human soldier who turned the tide. His name was Ryan. Not a general, not a commander, just a soldier. But during a critical battle on the planet Veridon, he had done something no one else dared to do. He went alone into enemy territory, destroyed the Krylok's main hive core, and saved 3 allied fleets from destruction. Now, he stood in front of the Galactic Council, facing leaders of more than 20 species. Every one of them praised him. Medals were offered, gifts, land, power, even noble titles from alien empires. But Ryan only had one request. "I want Princess Lyra," he said calmly. The room went silent. Even the translators seemed unsure how to respond. A few council members blinked, others whispered among themselves, some even laughed, thinking he was joking. But he wasn't. Princess Lyra was the youngest daughter of the Elvari royal family, a humanoid alien race known for their beauty, grace, and psychic talents. She was not famous for any of those things. In fact, she was mostly ignored. She was quiet, often kept away from public view. Other Elvari princesses were tall, elegant, glowing with pride and charm. Lyra was different, shorter, awkward, with pale skin and odd eyes that shifted colors slowly. Some said she was cursed. Others said she was simply strange. She was called the Quiet One by her own people. Never trained for politics, never chosen for marriage alliances. Even the Elvari didn't see her as valuable. She was left behind during royal meetings and treated like a forgotten shadow. So when Ryan asked for her, the entire Galactic Council was confused. "You can have anything, human," said High Lord Trevak of the Zandari. "Ships, planets, power. Why? Her?" Ryan looked at them, calm and firm. "On the second moon of Torax," he said, "when the Krylok broke through the shield wall and civilians were running for their lives, do you know who stayed behind to protect them?" No one answered. "Princess Lyra. She didn't run. She stayed with the injured. She helped children into escape pods. She carried wounded Elvari soldiers on her back. I saw it with my own eyes. She looked scared, but she didn't stop." The council grew quiet again. Ryan continued, "You all call her useless, but I saw something you didn't. I'm not asking for a favor. I'm claiming a reward. And that's my choice." They couldn't refuse. Not after the victory he had given them. Not after all the losses he had suffered. A few days later, Lyra was brought to the human ship. She stood at the docking bay, wearing a simple robe, hands folded nervously in front of her. Her eyes flickered from soft blue to gray, then to a pale violet. Ryan walked toward her slowly. "Hello, Princess. You're serious?" she said softly. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Yes," Ryan nodded. "I meant every word." Lyra looked down. "You could have chosen someone better." "No," Ryan said. "I chose right." He led her onto the ship. The crew didn't know how to react. Some were curious. Some whispered behind their hands. But Ryan ignored them all. He showed Lyra to her quarters, gave her space, and told her there was no rush. She didn't owe him anything. Days passed. Lyra didn't speak much, but she watched everything. She walked through the ship quietly, sometimes pausing near damaged panels, injured crew, or broken devices. She would place her hand near them almost without thought. And things started, working again. No one noticed at first, until the engine core, which had been failing for days, suddenly lit up at full power, just minutes after Lyra passed by. Ryan began noticing patterns. Crew members said they slept better when Lyra was near. A badly wounded engineer healed much faster than expected after Lyra sat beside him during recovery. Strange dreams were shared among the crew. Visions of starlight, old symbols, and soft voices, but Lyra always acted like nothing was wrong. She kept to herself, spent time reading old star maps and drawing quiet images in her room. She seemed lonely. One evening, Ryan brought her some tea. He didn't ask questions, he just sat with her. Finally, she spoke. "You made a strange choice, Ryan." "Maybe," he smiled, "but I don't regret it." "I'm not like the others," she said. "My own people see me as broken. They say I have something inside me that shouldn't be awakened." Ryan looked at her carefully. "What do you think?" She hesitated. "I don't know, but it's growing. I feel it." "Then let's find out together," he said. Lyra looked at him with wide eyes. For the first time, she smiled. Small, unsure, but real. In that moment, something shifted. Not just between them, but deep in the fabric of the ship. Something ancient stirred, something waiting, and as the stars outside shimmered in silence, a forgotten force began to wake. Not many noticed it yet. But soon the galaxy would. After weeks spent quietly on the ship, Lyra began to feel something new inside her. A strange power she could not explain. It was like a soft flame burning just beneath her skin. Sometimes it made her tired. Other times, it made her feel stronger than ever. Ryan noticed the changes. He watched her closely but never pushed. He knew she needed time. One afternoon, as the ship cruised through a quiet sector of space, an urgent alarm sounded. The ship's commander called out, "Pirate ships detected! Hostile approach vector on sensors!" The crew rushed to their stations, weapons charged, shields raised. The ship's hull hummed with energy. Ryan stood beside Lyra in the control room. She looked nervous, but calm. "Do you want to stay here?" he asked gently. She nodded. "I want to help." The pirates were fast, small ships designed for hit-and-run attacks. They came out of nowhere, surrounding Ryan's ship in seconds. The weapons officer fired, but the pirates dodged easily, closing in quickly. Then, something unexpected happened. Lyra walked forward to the center of the control room. She closed her eyes. Her hands lifted slowly, palms open. A quiet hum filled the air. The pirate ship suddenly shuddered. Their engines flickered. Lights inside them blinked like they had lost power. One by one, the pirate ships began to stop moving. They drifted in space like empty shells. The crew stared, shocked and silent. Ryan was the first to speak. "How did you do that?" Lyra opened her eyes. They glowed faintly violet. "I don't know." "We need answers," Ryan said. "Tell me everything." That night, Lyra shared what she could remember. "When I was a child, my family locked me away," she began. "They said I had a gift that could destroy worlds or save them. They called it the Starfire power." Ryan frowned. "Why hide it?" "Because they feared it. They feared me. Many times it flared when I was scared or angry. Sometimes it hurt me. So they kept me away from others." "What is it?" Ryan asked. "Energy. Living energy from the stars. It flows through me and sometimes I can control it without meaning to." Ryan nodded slowly. "And the pirate ships? I think I made them stop. I didn't want to hurt anyone, just protect." Ryan smiled. "You did more than that. You saved us all." Over the next days, strange things continued to happen. Lyra healed a wounded soldier by touching his arm. A broken machine started working again after she placed her hand on it. Strange symbols appeared on the ship's walls, glowing softly. When she dreamed, the crew began to whisper. Some called her the Starfire Princess. Others were afraid, but Ryan stood by her side, calm and strong. Then, a message came from the Elvari High Council. "Return the princess immediately," the message said. "She is a danger to the galaxy." Ryan read it aloud to Lyra. She clenched her fists, but didn't speak. "They want to take you back?" Ryan asked gently. "Yes," Lyra said. "They want to lock me away again. Or worse." "We won't let that happen," Ryan said firmly. "You're free now," as they prepared for possible attack. Ryan trained Lyra. He helped her learn control, how to focus her energy, how to defend herself without hurting others. Slowly, Lyra grew stronger. One day, while exploring old star charts, Lyra discovered a hidden message in the data. A story of her ancestors, starborn, beings who could shape galaxies with their power. "I'm part of something bigger," she told Ryan, "something ancient and powerful." Ryan smiled. "Then we'll face it together." Their peaceful time ended when the first bounty hunters arrived. Dark ships surrounded the human vessel. Weapons targeted the ship. The hunters demanded surrender of the princess. Ryan stood at the ship's front door. "She's not a prisoner. She's under my protection." The hunters ignored him and tried to board the ship. A battle began. Lyra, calm and focused, stepped forward. She raised her hands, and waves of glowing energy pushed back the invaders. Ryan fought beside her, protecting her every step. The crew watched in awe as the quiet, awkward princess became a powerful warrior. After the fight, the hunters retreated. Ryan looked at Lyra with respect. "You were incredible," Lyra smiled. "Thanks to you." But she knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would not forget the Starfire princess so easily. The bounty hunters' attack was only the start. News of Lyra's powers spread quickly across the galaxy. The Elvari High Council grew restless. To them, Lyra was no longer just a princess. They called her a threat to their control, a danger to the balance of power. They sent formal demands again. "Return the princess at once." But Ryan refused. He had seen the good in Lyra. He had seen her courage, her kindness, and now, her strength. While the council plotted, Lyra and Ryan traveled to a nearby neutral planet to find safety and answers. The planet was called Mirian, known for its ancient ruins and mysterious energy fields. Lyra felt a strange pull toward the ruins, as if they called her. They landed near the old temple. Inside, the walls were covered with symbols and glowing stones. Lyra touched one of the stones, and suddenly, visions flashed in her mind. Images of her ancestors, starborn beings who shaped the universe with their power. Ryan watched her carefully. "What do you see?" "My family's past," she said. "They were not just rulers. They were guardians of energy, energy that could create or destroy." "That power is inside you," Ryan said, "and you can choose how to use it." As they explored, Lyra found a hidden chamber filled with crystals humming with light. She reached out, and the crystals responded, glowing brighter. A voice echoed in her mind, soft, ancient, and kind. "Child of the Starfire, awaken!" Lyra gasped. "Who is that?" "I don't know," she said, "but it feels like a call to something greater." Meanwhile, back on their ship, the Galactic Council sent more hunters and warships. They prepared for war. Ryan and Lyra knew they couldn't hide forever. They began training harder. Ryan taught Lyra how to fight with weapons, how to lead, how to make quick decisions. Lyra practiced controlling her powers, calling energy to heal, to defend, to create light in the darkest places. One night, while meditating in the temple, Lyra felt a sudden surge of energy. Her eyes glowed bright violet, and her hands moved like lightning. She accidentally sent a wave of power across the temple, activating old defenses. Ancient machines whirred to life. Ryan rushed in, alarmed. "Are you okay?" Lyra nodded, breathing hard. "I think I'm getting stronger. Faster than I expected. We need to be careful," Ryan warned. "This power can protect us, but it can also destroy." Lyra agreed. She wanted control, not chaos. Soon, the hunters found them. A large warship appeared in orbit above Mirian. The Galactic Council sent a message: "Surrender the princess, or face total destruction." Ryan refused again. "We will not give her up." The battle was brutal. Ryan's ship took heavy damage. Lyra used her powers to shield the crew and repair systems. With Ryan's strategy and Lyra's energy, they held their ground. During the fight, Lyra reached out with her mind and felt the thoughts of enemy pilots. They were afraid, confused by her power. She focused her energy and sent a calm message: peace, not war. Some ships hesitated, unsure if they should fight. Ryan took the chance. "We don't want to fight you. Join us." The enemy commander was surprised but listened. After hours of tense negotiation, the warship pulled back. The Galactic Council realized Lyra was not just a threat. They had underestimated her. Lyra smiled at Ryan. "Maybe I can change more than I thought." Ryan smiled back. "And I'll be here for every step." The two returned to the temple, on Mirian. They knew their fight was far from over. But now, they had new hope. Lyra was no longer the forgotten princess. She was a symbol of power, peace, and change. And Ryan was her protector, the human soldier who saw her for who she truly was. The battle at Mirian had shown Ryan and Lyra that their enemies were growing stronger and more desperate. The Galactic Council, unable to control the situation peacefully, prepared a full blockade to capture Lyra and the human ship. But Lyra was no longer afraid. With Ryan's help, she had learned to control her starfire power better. She could feel the energy flowing through her like never before. It was still wild sometimes, but she was stronger. One quiet night, Ryan and Lyra sat together on the ship's observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy was vast and full of danger, but also full of hope. "Do you ever wonder what life would be like if we weren't hunted?" Lyra asked softly. Ryan smiled. "Sometimes, but then I remember, nothing worth having is easy. We just have to keep fighting." Lyra nodded. "I want to use my power to help, not to fight." "Then we'll make sure that happens," Ryan said. Their calm didn't last long. Sensors warned of approaching ships, this time not just hunters, but full war cruisers from the Galactic Council. The human ship powered up shields and weapons. The crew prepared for a battle unlike any before. As the enemy fleet closed in, Lyra stepped onto the outer deck, unprotected by armor or shields. The crew watched nervously. She raised her hands and the stars seemed to pulse with her energy. A soft glow surrounded her, brightening the darkness of space. Then, a wave of energy burst out from her, stretching far beyond the ship. The enemy cruiser's engines faltered. Weapons stopped working. Systems failed one by one. They drifted helplessly, unable to attack or retreat. Ryan stood beside Lyra, amazed but not surprised. "You did it." Lyra smiled, exhausted but proud. "It's not just me. It's the power of my ancestors, the Starfire legacy." With Lyra's power, Ryan's ship escaped the blockade, but the galaxy had taken notice. Reports of the Starfire princess spread quickly. Many feared her, but others saw a new hope. Alien leaders from distant systems reached out quietly, asking for talks. Ryan and Lyra decided to travel to a neutral zone, a place called the Crystal Nebula, a region full of ancient relics and forgotten knowledge. There they hoped to find answers about Lyra's power and how to use it to bring peace, not war. As they entered the nebula, strange crystals floated around the ship, glowing softly. Lyra reached out her hand, and the crystals responded, swirling around her like a gentle storm. In the heart of the nebula, they found an ancient temple, older than any known civilization. Inside, Walls were covered in glowing symbols, telling stories of starborn beings who had shaped galaxies. Lyra touched the symbols, and the energy inside the temple pulsed in response. Voice echoed in her mind again, calm and warm. "Child of Starfire, your time has come." Ryan watched as Lyra closed her eyes and absorbed the energy. When she opened them, they shone with a bright violet light. "I feel connected," she said, "to everything." Then, a vision came. A future where the galaxy was united, free of fear and war, but it was fragile. A single wrong step could bring destruction. Ryan took her hand. "We'll be careful. Together." Just as they began to plan their next move, an urgent alert sounded. A distress signal from a nearby colony was detected. It was under attack by rogue forces. Lyra and Ryan didn't hesitate. They set course immediately. Arriving at the colony, they found it surrounded by raiders, attacking without mercy. Ryan led the crew into battle, while Lyra used her Starfire power to protect civilians and heal the wounded. Her energy created shields of light that blocked weapons. Her touch brought strength to those who were weak. The raiders were overwhelmed by the combined force of humans and Lyra's power. After the battle, the colony leaders thanked them. They had never seen such a display of courage and hope. Word spread quickly. More systems called for help. Lyra and Ryan became symbols, not just of war, but of healing and unity. The galaxy was beginning to change. But the Galactic Council still wanted control. They sent their most feared fleet to capture Lyra once and for all. Ryan and Lyra prepared for the fight ahead. They knew the battle for the galaxy's future was just beginning. The galaxy held its breath as Ryan and Lyra faced their greatest challenge. The Galactic Council's most powerful fleet approached, determined to capture Lyra and end the rising Starfire power once and for all. The human ship, though smaller and older than the enemy vessels, stood strong. The crew was ready, their spirits lifted by the bond between the human soldier and the alien princess. Lyra stood on the observation deck, feeling the energy swirl inside her. This was more than a battle. It was a test of who she was and what she could become. Ryan joined her quietly. "We've come far. No matter what happens, you've already changed the galaxy." Lyra smiled softly. "And you've been my strength." The battle began with a thunder of weapons fire. Enemy cruisers fired bright beams of energy, trying to break the human ship's shields. Ryan commanded the crew with calm precision. "Hold the line. Trust the princess." Lyra closed her eyes, reaching deep within herself. Her hands glowed violet as she sent waves of starfire energy outwards. The enemy ships faltered again, their weapons failing as if caught in an invisible web. But the Council fleet was relentless. They adapted quickly, focusing their attacks on Ryan's ship. In the heart of the fight, Lyra stepped outside the ship on a special platform, unprotected by armor. Her glowing form was a beacon in the dark void. She raised her hands, and the stars around the ship seemed to pulse with her power. With a mighty wave, she unleashed a force that disabled the enemy fleet's engines. Ships spun helplessly, caught in the power of the starfire. But Lyra knew this power could be dangerous. She focused on control, calming the energy with gentle waves that healed the damaged human ship and crew. Ryan led a boarding team to capture the enemy commander. In the ship's bridge, they found the commander surprised and tired. Ryan spoke firmly. "This fight can end now. The princess offers peace." The commander looked at Lyra, glowing softly. "She's more than a weapon," he said quietly. "She is hope." Soon, other fleets received the message. One by one, they lowered their weapons. The Galactic Council realized their fear had made them blind. Lyra was not a threat, but a new path. After the battle, Lyra and Ryan visited many planets, helping rebuild what war had broken. Lyra's power healed sick children, repaired broken machines, and brought peace to old enemies. She was no longer the least admired princess, but the Queen of Hope. Ryan refused medals and titles. "I'm just a soldier," he said. "The real power is hers." Together they traveled the stars, a human and a princess bound by trust and courage. The galaxy watched in wonder as the forgotten princess revealed her true power, not to destroy but to heal and unite. And Ryan knew that no matter what came next, they would face it together.